Love it. Bringing you up. Beautiful. All right, man. Yep, you're good. Okay, I'm coming over. And I am off the air. I am absolutely okay on my end. I'm trying to bring my people over to join us this evening. I appreciate that. You look good yourself, dude. Very handsome man. Very handsome man. I think our wives are very lucky. Yeah, no, not at all. Oh man. I'm hearing you. It might be. I'm seeing I hear you, and I see the green on the studio back end. They're saying they're muted on stream though. Well, yeah, yeah. Just him, just you, I should say. Are you just using Studio or are you using OBS as well? Huh, that's interesting. That's so weird. Mhm. That's interesting. Absolutely. Guys, my name is Midnight, and my first name is James. I will not give the last name, obviously, for security reasons. But besides the point, RCAM has graciously allowed me to come on his first episode to talk about my journey. I guess not only just through life, but my journey to, from, and back to having my relationship with God this evening. And I just wanted to thank you, Arkham, very much for giving me this opportunity to talk about my story in my life. I've done it in the past in very minimalistic senses, but I think I feel comfortable enough at this point, especially with who I'm speaking with at the moment, not only with the chat, but with yourself. I'm ready to kind of do a little bit of a deep dive when it comes to um, just the type of journey that you can have and how God is an extremely important being to have in your life. Yeah, I can hear you. That's weird. Yeah, that's interesting. Now, is the well, again, I don't understand that because I'm seeing you go green too in the studio end. Look at your bottom end where your microphone button is and see if like the right one's selected or something.
All right. All right. They could probably hear me now. Can you guys hear me?
You'll see
Yay,
in a second.
nay. Let's see.
Yay or nay? Thumbs up, thumbs down, guys. Okay.
Yeah.
Lady
Okay.
Midnight can said that you can hear you.
Okay. All right. We're good. We are good. All right. So yeah, we're gonna have Midnight here, and he's gonna tell us his story. First, before we get into your story, just tell me, I guess, a little bit about how you even came to start Midnight in the Mountains, because I think what you're doing is freaking awesome, dude. I really love it. I love tuning in the morning too, because it's a way for me to kind of get caught up on some world events and news. And honestly, you tee me off for my Tuesdays and Thursday shows, so it's pretty awesome.
I mean, I absolutely love it. Thank you. So I got into Rumble. So it all came from being fired, to be honest with you. I was a creative director of a botanicals company for the last 8 years of my life. I would say yeah, about last 8 years of my life. A good friend of mine, so I thought, brought me on when he first developed this company, and I've been on and off with him over the years. But he brought me on full time with that position. I would say probably about 5 years ago with that title of creative director. But 2 days before Thanksgiving, this past Thanksgiving, he ended up letting me go over a situation to where he thought I was working behind his back or trying to develop another relationship with a botanicals company down in Florida of actually like helping them with their marketing and creativity and production for that matter. And I mean, grant you, was there situations where I was talking to others to start a merchandise company like T-shirts and stickers, things like that? I'm a graphics designer, and the funny thing is that at first, when we and my other friend that worked there, which still works there to this day, uh, decided to try to do this like t-shirt making company. We got the DTF printer. We were all going to do it in house instead of drop shipping it. He was all gung ho about it. He actually helped support getting us some of the equipment and things like that. But it just seems that one of the companies that I decided to reach out to, he didn't very much like. And what it came down to really is I think it was just the excuse that he used to end up letting me go at that point in time. But there was a lot going on with the company. It wasn't going well. So I just have a feeling, and I can't confirm or deny it, that he just wanted to bring the money back in house. And if that was the case, I'm totally okay with that, right? And there was a situation to where he wanted I was on a company phone and he wanted the phone back. I gave it back to him. And what actually did it was the passwords for the Apple ID wasn't working, and I gave him like a laundry list of every password I've ever used, and I think he took it to me that I was trying to not allow him to get into the phone, which wasn't the case at all because there's nothing left on it anyway. I ended up factory resetting it and to hand it back in at that point. But what he really wanted to do was go through my conversations on my Facebook and my private accounts, right? So that's just something I wasn't comfortable with, obviously,
That seems
whether
really
you're a friend or
inappropriate,
not.
man.
Yeah, I mean, he had me sit down at his desk, bring up the conversation with this said person that was down in Florida, and had me scroll back in the history so he can read it line by line. And right there, right then and there, once that situation happened, I knew either A, I was getting let go, or B, I was leaving if it escalated past that point. And I actually had a conversation with my wife a good 3 weeks before he ended up telling me, "Hey, don't come back in on Monday." Because he had me start leaving the company phone at the place, and which I was totally fine with doing. I mean, at that point, what do I need it for besides doing the like the TikTok videos and the creation anyway? So perfectly fine, completely open. The only thing I wasn't okay with was allowing him on my Facebook. That just wasn't happening, and so the one weekend, I was just sitting at home and I get a phone call from his brother, which is funny because he wouldn't even talk to me himself at this point. And just to give a little bit of context, this is a dude that went and married me and my wife. We had a very small shotgun wedding. You know, not too many people were there. It was in like this old church that at that point he had a vape business, and he was doing pretty well in that. But we got married inside that makeshift church that used to be a church, but it was converted into a retail space. And so, I mean, again, this guy was like a brother to me. So all of this happening in the course of 48 hours was really stunning to me. But with all of
Jesus.
that, with all that happening, I came to the realization that that wasn't the place I was meant to be. And before I got let go from that job, I was talking to him and his brother, who are the owners of the company. And I kept mentioning Rumble over and over again as another platform and avenue to get their creativity and their branding out to the world uh, by starting a podcast. And they went and they bought the 4 microphones. They had a nice studio setup. They actually put a lot of money behind this, but never followed through with it. And I still to this day don't understand why, because even with me being gone, they should be doing it, but they're not. Um, I always had Rumble in the back of my mind.
Hmm.
So when I got let go, the first few weeks, I would say that I was a bit down in the dumps. You know what I mean? I didn't know what the future was going to hold for me at that point. I was thankfully the way he let me go, I was able to be okay on getting the help with funding afterwards. You know what I mean? Uh, they couldn't take that away from me or couldn't appeal any of that stuff. So I at least had somewhat of a few week nest egg while I was still looking out and finding other work. So with that being secured and like knowing that I was going to be able to put food on the table temporarily while I kind of recuperated my mind emotionally and physically at that point, because the job was very demanding on both sides of that blade. Um, I took the time and I was sitting there and I go to Brittany, and which is my wife, and you guys might know her as Lady Midnight. She streams with me a lot playing the video
She's
games
awesome,
now
man.
in Fortnite. Thank you so much. And I turned to her. I was like, "Listen," I was like, "You know who I am, and you know I just can't sit on my butt. So while I have this reprieve, I think I'm going to start streaming myself and go on Rumble, because I have this gut feeling that for some reason they're going to be helping small creators soon, because I've kind of been looking at them and I've kind of seen the rumblings on X and the other social media platforms, but they never announced anything about the creator program. And but for some reason, like I was kind of spoken to by God and given a sign that something's going to be happening
Yeah,
on
it's
this
like that
platform.
still
And
small voice, man, that's leading you to do what
I'm
you're
telling you,
called to do. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and you're not wrong on that. There's been very specific times in my life that that voice has come and spoken to me. And the funny part is on my way to work, 2 weeks before I got let go, that voice appeared to me again. Not only that, but the light in the sky with the clouds parting, and I knew that me getting let go was happening well before that it actually did. Like
Wow.
I was told and I remember coming home that day that it happened, letting Brittany know that it did, and I'm like, get prepared, because this is coming down the tube, and I just know it's going to happen, and it ended up happening. Nonetheless, I kind of lost track there. Um, oh, so I have a conversation with her again about starting streaming on Rumble, and I had no idea what I was going to be doing at first, to be quite honest with you. I just knew that I needed to do something finally after 36 years on this planet and a good 20 years in the graphics design, in the marketing and branding arena of helping all of these other people build their dreams out and their creativity and stuff. I needed to do it for myself for once and for all. So I started going on in the mornings, and I met Father Russell. He was one of the first users that I ended up watching here on
He's a
Rumble,
cool guy.
and I seen him. I love him so much. He's brilliant. He's extremely well educated. His opinion is fiery, and his voice is very strong, and that's what kind of drew me to him. But because he was gaming in the very early in the morning, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I noticed that there was actually a lot of viewers on Rumble that early in the morning. And he would have some fiery opinions about the political sphere and news and things like that. I was like, well, this is interesting. So I started the Rumble journey with that. and I knew that I was going to be playing video games again, so that was always on the back burner. But um, that's how I got here on Rumble. About a week and a half into that journey, uh, I always fell asleep and had this strong relationship and love for Art Bell and Coast to Coast AM. And if you guys don't know who Art Bell is in Coast to Coast AM, back in the late '80s and into the '90s, a bit into the early 2000s. It's still going on today, but just under a different host, I'm pretty sure. I think George Norrie took it over after, but that show was built, and the essence of it will never be the same without Art Bell being alive. And it was a radio show, nationally syndicated, like 170 different radio stations that would play between like 11 p.m. and 6 in the morning. So he was really the man that kind of pioneered the whole, I don't want to say just paranormal, because it was the unknown. This man just he loved to dig into what people experienced in this reality that isn't supposed to be here. I mean, in the general sense of the term, like our everyday lives, right? So I used to fall asleep, and I still do to this day. I usually put on Art Bell around between 9 and 11 o'clock, when me and the kids are falling asleep, and we fall asleep to his voice and the stories and his guests coming on the show, talking about their experiences, not only with God's situations and the miracles, but with aliens and government conspiracies and the like, right? And that's when I had this little bit of an idea, because I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, what am I going to do? And I had this revelation, because I'm sitting there scrolling through my phone looking for Art Bell videos to watch. And I realized that he's no longer with us. He had a show called Midnight in the Desert, right? And he was in Nevada on the West Coast. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking at these comments on these videos on YouTube that are 5 years old, 6 years old, so on and so forth. And I'm realizing that these comments that are being put on the videos are 5 hours old, a day old, a week old. So there's people constantly interacting with his older material. And I'm realizing at 36 years old that I've had such a passion for the same subject matter that I would like to try to pick up his torch where he left it and continue on that legacy of exploring the firsthand experiences of other people's um, uh, travels into the unknown. So that's where Midnight in the Mountains kind of came from. And we've only been here for about 6 months, going on 7 months Hill and Rumble, but the growth has been extraordinary. I do a couple different things on the channel, like doing the gaming at night and on the weekends. And then in the mornings, I get a little bit more political and a little bit more like towards the news in general, not so much on the conspiracy end of things, and the ghost end of things. But it's all kind of been culminating into one beautiful channel here on Rumble.
All right. That's good. Okay. You do a variety of things though, man, and I think that's cool. The variety streaming is awesome. It's something that I didn't even dawn on me that I could do really until I started seeing. I was watching Soundboard Lord do his show, and I'm like, oh, that guy is great at what he's doing. I want to do that. And then I saw you do your show, and then you do the morning show, and then you do. I'm like, oh my god, I can do all these things at the same
Yes,
time. I don't need to be a one trick
exactly.
pony, man. And so that's exciting. Can I don't mean to be rude. I want to try to get one of these ads in
No, go, please go
while
ahead.
I can.
Do it now.
Um because the last time I tried to do an ad read, the screen went black for a second because I had to open up another window. The last time I tried to do an ad read, they didn't count it because because of the height of the banner or whatever. So I'm just gonna do
Yeah, yeah,
one
yeah.
promoting Rumble.
No, please do.
All right. It is starting, I think. Yes, it is started. Okay. So we want to encourage your art. Oh, if if you haven't already, make sure you download the Rumble app. It's free, simple to use, and the best way to stay connected to the content you want. Once you've already Got it? Search for my channel and hit follow. That way you'll get a notification every time we go live. No missed shows, no extra steps. You can grab it right now using the link in the description or pinned live chat. Download it to your phone and you're ready to go. And if you prefer watching it on the big screen, Rumble is available on all major streaming devices, smart TVs. Just search for Rumble, follow the channel, and be part of the action. Did they shorten that? I think they did. Yeah, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, there's they have two of them now. There's like a Rumble one that doesn't say premium and one like for premium. And they're, I mean, a lot of these ones, especially the Westwood One Sports one. I mean, they're giving a decent amount of change for that one, and it takes like 15-20 seconds to read.
And for those of you in the comment section, I'm seeing your comments. Scottish Viking, thank you for letting me know my screen went black earlier. I appreciate that, man. See Lady Midnight chiming in, and I thank you and appreciate all the love. All right, so let's hear, I guess, where your story starts, man.
So, I mean, guys, it's been a long one, and I'll tell you that much. It's been emotionally painful, and at the same sense, um, uh, at this point in my life, I couldn't regret a single moment of it. So I'm gonna get started of when I was a child, and this is my story of how I found God, right? And how I started to live the life and be the person and the man and the husband that I am today. Um, so around 11, 12 years old, I can't say that I had a bad childhood. I didn't. My mother and father were great. They fought a lot themselves, right? So it was always the situation of me and my brother and sister at the top of the stairs where mom and dad were fighting in the kitchen. You've probably heard that type of story over and over and over again. My father was a big drinker. My mother was a big manipulator. You know what I mean? At the same sense, there's just certain situations that would happen, and even in my teenage years, when money would just go to places that we didn't know where it was going. But that's besides the point. So my mother and father obviously ended up not being compatible with each other. So around 11, 12 years old, they got the divorce, and I'm just starting my middle school journey. Uh, what kind of culminated the darkness around my life was at that point in time, my brother and sister, I was the baby of the family. My brother and sister were off to college and the Marine Corps. My brother first off left. I had my sister for a little while. And then my sister ended up going to IUP over on the west coast of, well, not west coast, but over in the west of Pennsylvania. So me being 11, 12 years old, we had a mountain home, right? And we used to go to church. I was raised Roman Catholic. We had a good relationship with the people around us. And that's where I knew and had my education in God, and having my education in the realm of religion. But I can't say at that point in time that it took root and took hold, because when my mother and father ended up splitting, that's when my thought process of what if none of that is true, and why, and if what I was taught in confirmation and how a marriage is supposed to be like, why isn't it happening in my mother and father? So it
Yeah,
made me
that's really
question a lot.
interesting though, because one of the things that really does hinder like a person's relationship with God is if they're seeing people that they're closest to, especially if they're married, their relationship not bearing the fruit of a good godly relationship. It can have negative implications on the children. And this is why, man, I'm like so serious about giving marriage 100% everything, because you're also setting a standard for your kids to live by, and a lens to which they view God even.
Yeah, it's the truth. It is. And it played a massive role in how I was thinking in the next teen years of my life. So my brother and sister's gone. We end up leaving from my mountain home where we were living in Pennsylvania, and that was my everything. I had my adrenaline fixed with my quad and being able to go out in the woods. So my mother couldn't afford the house. She ended up having to work constantly, and I don't blame her for that. But what happened is that I got brought down into the city at that point, seventh, eighth grade, and I had no one around me. Everything that I knew was uprooted and taken away from me almost overnight. Um, so I'm sitting there, and I kind of just dive into the back of my room, and I go into this dark space in my life, and start playing video games and getting sucked into them, not in a healthy way, but in a very disconnected way from reality at that point in time. I wanted to do and think and anything I could have to not be where I actually was physically and in my life. So at that point, I'm trying to figure out ways, even with friendships outside. I did have a close friend, Will, and there was a point in time where he ended up having his lung collapse, and that's where drugs finally started to come into play in my life. His lung collapsed, and the doctor gave him Percocet, and we were playing Halo a lot at that point. And I'm sitting here, but this is now 15, 16 years old. Um, he would come over and we just sit there on the couch, eat Percocet, and play Halo at that young of an age. And at that point, the moment that entered my body and I felt the warmth of what I was missing of my childhood, and it falsely brought all of that happiness back into me for temporary amounts of time. So at that point, no one was telling me or even knew that it was happening, or would they be able to stop it anyway? Because nobody was in my life. My mother worked so
Mm,
much; she'd be gone very early in the morning, getting home very late at night. I basically cooked myself dinner, took care of the house, and over the years, it just got worse and worse and worse.
yeah.
And the access to it was easy enough to get, especially with the friends that I had at school and knowing a lot of the older generation. So it compounded on itself. My brother and sister end up finally coming home at that point, and that's when things got even weirder because that's when she started asking us for money, and money would be missing, and bills weren't getting paid, and we are always in this situation of like, where are we going to do, and or where are we going to go, and what are we going to do? Because what are you doing with this cash? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like we were giving her significant amount. Like none of us were stupid. We knew how much the bills were. We seen the mail come in. So what is going on here? At that point, I disconnected even more. So I'm sitting there and I'm diving into it. I ended up going to rehab the first time. I left the house because I would always. My mother was an ill person, right? So she was on painkillers herself, and one of the biggest ones that I used to take was tramadol, which
Mm,
is severely nasty to get off of, to say the least, because it's a synthetic. Um, I used to pick her lock boxes all the time. No matter where she would hide it, I would find it and take it. And at one point, my brother would flip out, and me and him haven't spoken in about, I'd say, 12 years now,
wow.
not a single word. And not that it even matters now, because the man he was back then is not the man he is now. We actually, I'll get into it a little bit, but we kind of played a role reversal to where I was the black sheep back then, and now he's the black sheep now. And it's really crazy to say the least. But it's been a long journey to get there. Um, so I'm basically just shut down at this point. I'm just a drugged out mess. I would do anything possible that I could to get that fixed. Now, did I ever harm people around me? Besides my mother, no. I never robbed anybody. I was never a violent person. I was always very, very silent and reserved about what I was doing to feel the happiness and to get through my workday and to keep that smile on my face.
Yeah.
It took about 14 years for anybody to even realize that I was doing this to myself, because I hid that part of myself so well. And I wanted to be that happy person. I was always that caring guy. I was a fake version of who you see today. Um, so over the years, I ended up being on the Suboxone program, which is absolute dog trash. It
Yeah,
is
dude.
literally the
I
same
worked in
exact thing as the opiates.
supported housing, and I worked with people that were on Suboxone a lot to get off
Yeah.
opiates, but now they're
Mhm.
addicted to the Suboxone. They can't go
It's
without
the
it,
same
and it
thing,
just
dude.
repeats the cycle, dude. It sucks.
Yep, exactly. You're not wrong. And then out of nowhere, at that point, my brother and sister move out, and I'm probably about into my mid 20s now. So I never really, none of us really had the money to ever leave home. So that whole umbilical cord process of being attached to my mom because she was the one that owned the house took a very long time to cut. At this point in time, my sister and my brother, not so much my brother anymore, but They moved down south, and I'm sitting in this house once again alone, once again all by myself, and still doing what I'm doing, and still doing what I'm doing to my mother.
Yeah, they
And
say the
I,
idle mind or idle hands are the devil's playground, you know? Hey,
isn't that the truth?
thank you, Tawny Jedi, for the follow. I appreciate it. And we have a comment from Scottish Viking Gaming. I have tried a lot of drugs, and I've always wondered the line between the recreational and the habitual. Then I remembered I smoke weed every day, and went, "Huh? I am an addict." Well, at
Yeah,
least you have that insight, man. You know, it's important to be able to recognize that.
it's absolutely the truth. And I'm still to this day Scottish. I am an addict. I will always be an addict, whether it's drugs or otherwise. There's always going to be something I need to fill the space and find that happiness. Luckily now I've found more healthier ways to get that situation taken care of, right? So there's this one point in my mid 20s and later 20s that I get a phone call from a mutual friend of mine, Emily, and this is when I end up meeting what I refer to as my angel, in the form of a woman, like you stated on X. It was by happenstance that I was even able to meet Brittany, because she was someone who lived an hour and a half away from where I was physically, but she was in the hospital for a month, along with my mutual friend Emily from high school. They were both there trying to take care of their own mental issues. Now, grant you, was Brittany supposed to be there? It was more of a forced situation coming from her family. Um, and I realized this after a good year of knowing the woman, that she was absolutely telling the truth in that situation, to where they drove her to the brink of insanity. So she was getting help with that. She ended up getting out of that hospital the day early,
Hmm.
and she decided to stay at Emily's house before going back to her devastating situation of her life and upbringing at that point. So I'm completely gone. I'm out of God's sight at this point. And something inside me, because I wasn't actually even going to go, because I had no car, I was broke, I was pretty much the epitome of like that basic loser with nothing to his name at that point in time. I turned my back on God, I turned my back on religion, anything that may have been able to get me through. But I just had this tingle in my heart that I needed to take this walk. So I walked the 35 minutes to my friend Emily's house, and she was like, "Well, I have a friend over, and we just want to watch movies. I would love for you to come up and hang out. I know you need to get out." Because I was always pretty honest with Emily about what was going on in my life. She didn't know too much about the drugs at that point, but she knew about the struggle, and I'm quite sure that she probably knew about that as well, but just didn't come up front about it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So I got that tingle in my heart. I realized that I did need to get out of the house at that point in time because I was struggling. And then I walk through the door and I see Brittany sitting on the couch, and I'm like, huh. I was like, there's something interesting about this girl. And right off the bat, we ended up spending the night together. And
You
that's kind of besides the
you
point.
know what's
But
funny, Midnight? Our stories, now that you're telling yours and I'm hearing yours more fleshed out, do have some striking similarities. They really do. Also, Miss Leslie is in the chat now, and we got a new
Miss
follow
Leslie,
from the Mammy, the Glenda, or Glend. So welcome. I appreciate you guys.
absolutely. Thank you for coming in, guys. I appreciate your support here, not only for RCAM, but for myself as well.
Yeah.
Make sure you hit that like repost button for sure. But we're sitting there and they put Guardians of the Galaxy on, and I'm sitting on the couch with Brittany, and we're just kind of chit chatting here back and forth about interests and just your general thing. And there's this one point, and this was the pivotal moment that I knew that this woman was truly actually going to at least be in my life in one way or another. Is I laid out my arm, and I was like, I was like, it's a requirement, and just like with a shit-eating grin on my face, because I wanted to see what she would have done. And instantly, she realized what I was talking about, and she started to run her fingers up and down my arm. And ever since I could remember, that was the only thing, even in high school, that would calm me down, is when people would just lightly run fingers, because I have a very sensitive skin in that situation, right? And it felt amazing. Same with the ASMR, like with the certain sounds, and and people saying words with the letter S in them would like make my brain freak out and send these tingles all throughout my body. Running your fingers up and down the arm did the same thing, and she reciprocated that and started to do that right off the bat. And I don't know, there's just this electrifying connection all night long. And we ended up spending the night together, and I had work the next morning. And in 28 years of my life, I woke up the next morning. It was the first time that I was just purely infatuated with what was laying next to me. So I was felt very guilty that I had to run and go to work. So I sat there for like 5 minutes straight, just like giving her what we now refer to as pop kisses. And it's just like going, but on her forehead. And I did it like thousands of times. I was like, it was so amazing meeting you. I sorry I got to run, so on and so forth. I hope that you stay in contact with me. I don't want this to be the only time. You know what I mean? And just seeing each other, the other stuff was besides the point. But I go to work and I get off of work at the Geek Squad about 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I end up getting home and I get a phone call from Emily, and she's like, Jim, we got a problem. They found out that Brittany stayed at my house last night instead of going directly home. So she literally gets kicked out of her house. She has no place to live. And being the person I've been and being raised the way I was, especially with all the friends that we had in our lives, my mother used to refer to them as the zoo crew. We had people live in our house and stay on the couch before to get them off of their
Yep.
feet and or back onto their feet. So I'm like, I turn to my mother and I'm like, this is happening whether you like it or not. And Brittany came into my life permanently from that point on. It's been now going on 10 years. We have 2 children together. Um, and she was the reason why I felt like God shined a big spotlight on me, you know? Like out of nowhere, that was the first time that I looked up at the sky and realized you're still there and you're still watching
Mm.
me, right? Um, so I realized at that point that I needed to be honest with this girl if this was ever going to work. So what happened that first night was pushed off to the side, and I think this like kind of blew her mind as well because I took all physical relations off the table for like the first 6 months of her living with me, and I was like, if we're gonna end up getting to know each other, I want to do it the right way. You know, we don't have the ability to date. You're already living with me, but I still want to let you know that that's not all that I'm interested in, right? And a couple months in, I was kind of hiding what I was doing when it comes to the drugs and stuff like that. And I remember the one morning or evening, one of the two, I went up and in my closet I had an eyeglass case, one of the flip hard case eyeglasses case, and that's where I kept all my Suboxone. And I turned to her and I just opened it up. I was like, I just want you to let you know that this is what you're dealing with. Because I wanted to see what type of caliber of woman she was. And she looks at me and she's like, I'm not going anywhere. We will get through this together. And ever since that moment, she has just had my side through so many tough situations, through homelessness, um, through my drug addiction, through her own personal struggles with her family. And I mean, if that doesn't show you what fate and what God will do for somebody who's struggling, I don't know what will. You know what I mean,
Yeah.
RCAM? Um, she truly has been my angel. And with the kids coming, I mean, they solidified the entire ordeal. So slowly over the years, I went to rehab a second time, and that's the one that finally got me off the alcohol and the hard drugs. I should say that's what got me off the hard stuff. And then it was a struggle even then to get off the alcohol. But each step of the way, this girl's just sitting there solid as can be, not wanting to give up on this relationship and who we are and the love that we did have for each other, despite my pain and effort and destruction that I was causing within my own self. And it took me a while to realize that I may not be physically harming anybody around me and I am just physically harming myself with these substances, but it is affecting them around me, you know? Um, and seeing all of that pain, seeing what it was doing to Brittany, and seeing just how strong she was, that spotlight when it comes to having the relationship with God just continued to grow and grow and grow. she held my hand each mini step into the process of finding and being in that dark place, and kind of getting at the end of that tunnel and seeing the light again. Ever since we've met, I knew that I was going to be okay, and that God was basically on both of our ends at that point in time, because she had her own struggles, but that's a story, maybe a guest for another day for her to come on. I'll let her tell that one.
Yeah,
And
man.
at this point in time, guys, I mean, I don't know, not only when it comes to Brittany, but I don't know what I would do without my ability to shut my eyes and talk to God every single day, because there's been multiple times and situations to where I just dropped to my knees. And I remember doing it in rehab the second time, saying, I just want to feel right. I don't want to be this person anymore. I was like, I'm just releasing myself from it. I was like, show me something, show me the signs, anything possible to make me realize that I'm on the right path and I need to keep going through this pain and this turmoil to get to the end of the sun. And every single step of the way, the green flags were there. The chess piece was in the right place. I would notice a book with a certain title with a message for myself.
Mm.
Every single day of my life, I see these flags. Every single morning, I see these in the conversations that we have in chat. Um, he is everywhere, RCAM.
Yeah.
He's everywhere, and he's talking to you constantly. Sometimes it is straight directly into your brain. Sometimes you do hear his voice, but it is in your everyday objects that he shows his message the most, at least in my personal life. That's where all of his messages came
I've
from.
had moments like that
Just like
too,
the
dude.
clouds separating,
Dude,
you know?
a couple like, about 3 weeks ago, my grandma passed. I had this, like I didn't really know where she was at with God, and I was like, man, God, I hope she's in. I don't know, I don't know. My grandma had like a hard life, and for periods of her life, she wasn't a good woman. And we were driving back from. Well, on the way there, I prayed and I was like, man, I just want to know, I want to know she's with you. And on the way back, we're driving back from the funeral, and dude, I see the most beautiful rainbow I've ever seen, and rainbows are a sign of God's promise. And it was like God was saying, "Yeah, she's here, man." And like that was really reassuring to me. But He speaks to us like this all the time, and a lot of times though, when your mind is clouded, it's difficult to hear Him. But He is there and He is speaking. We just have to have ears to hear, man. Yeah, thank
I
you, Lady
absolutely
Midnight.
agree with that. It is. It is. And I don't know. I mean, my biggest message here in going through the damages that I have and the hurt that I've caused others is that no matter where you're at in life, that there is absolutely always a hand being held out to you. You can be the most evil person in the world. You could have done the diabolical things in your life. I have hurt people countless times. I've stolen from Walmart. I've stolen from corporations just to get by in my life. He will forgive you as long as you leave that life behind,
Yeah,
and follow his love and his thoughts on how you should live and treat other human beings. And not only that, but yourself. You have to treat yourself as that temple, man.
yeah. No, 100%, man. You have to take care of the body that He's given you and the mind that He's given
Mm,
you. And when you're close to losing it, man, when you're close to, when you're in that dark place where you feel like your life is spiraling out of control, that moment, that second moment in rehab where you just kind of came to your end of yourself, well, that's where your new life begins, man. That's where it
mm,
starts. That's where God starts to do that work because you've realized that you can't do it without Him. You need Him, and he sets you on the right path. And that's my story. It sounds like that's your story, and it's just cool to kind of see what He does in the lives of those people that are willing to have a little bit of faith, man.
absolutely. And I mean, before that second trip to rehab, I just remembered what kind of not forced me into it, but made me realize that I needed to start having that conversation with the higher power. I remember being we used to live in this little lake house apartment, and at that point, I was off hard drugs. Let me just clarify. I was still kind of dabbling in it, but I was more so in the alcohol at that point in time. And yeah, I was, because that's when Adderall was a big portion of my life as well. I wasn't sleeping for days on end, days on end. And whether it was psychosis or not, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, I have this demonic gurgling voice come into the side of my bed while I'm just laying in bed. Brittany's already asleep. We were pregnant with a lark at that point in time, and we were just about to have him. And I should say we did just have him. He was about a month old, and he just kept laughing at me. He just kept laughing at me for about an hour straight, saying, "You don't have the power to make it. You were never going to amount to be anything. You think that you're strong enough to get off these drugs and to get off the Adderall and to change your life. Well, I'm sitting here laughing at you, telling you that you will never accomplish that." And I broke down and I just started crying and crying and crying, like realizing that I am that weak and I am um, tired, and I don't think that I have the ability to do it. But at the same sense, I felt this overwhelming warmth the next day, and I was like, "There's something has to change." And we were going down to Alaric's. He was about a week old, just getting out of the NICU to his first doctor's appointment, and this is the first time that instead of just speaking to me and showing me the signs, that God truly, truly physically intervened in my life is I
Wow.
fell asleep behind the wheel with my 1 week old baby in the car because I decided a few days beforehand that I was going to try to do this, that I was going to try to quit drinking, and I was going to stop the Adderall. And like to do that cold turkey, it really messes with your body physically. And then I ended up falling asleep behind the wheel, and we were going down the highway. Brittany's in the passenger seat, Alaric's in the baby seat behind. And this is a story I don't tell because it was that close. And I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with telling it in my later years. Guys, this is only 6 years ago. Well, Alaric's only going to be 7 in September, right? So it's still very fresh in my mind that it happened. And I ended up falling asleep behind the wheel, and there was a guardrail on the right hand side of the highway, and there was a telephone pole maybe 3 or 4 feet to the right of that. And somehow, some way, in my Honda Accord, whether it was fractions of an inch that made us slip through right in the middle of both of them, because Brittany was able to jerk my arm right at the correct moment for me to realize exactly what was in front of me and to make a microscopic decision
Wow.
on turning the wheel just like at the correct moment to slip through this, which still to this day we visit that spot. And RCAM, there's no possible way that this car, as wide as it was, should have slipped through these two objects, the very solid guardrail and the very solid telephone pole. The car was wider than the two of them. The mirrors didn't get taken off. The mirrors didn't even bend in. That would have been the first thing in my mind that should have got torn
Wow.
right off the car. So we slipped through those two objects, re-rolled 150 feet, came to a complete stop in a grassy knoll, and I was able to turn the car around, get back on the highway, and make it to that doctor's appointment. So
Talk
at
about
that
Jesus
point,
taking the wheel, man. Quite
that's
literally.
exactly
Holy
right. Exactly
smokes,
right,
dude.
dude. And that moment absolutely shook me to the core, because instead of realizing what was happening, it took me a good while to make me realize that it was God that intervened that day. Because at first, like, I was cursing myself, and I was cursing. I was like, "This is the reason why I need the drugs," and that would have never happened if I had the Adderall. And I was just this egotistical prick. And it took me a while to realize that that moment was absolutely needed in my life. As dangerous it was to finally take that turn around and drop back 180 and start walking into the light, back into the light, and trusting the guy that lives in the sky for me.
Hmm. Man, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it
That's
it, it was
wild.
insane. It is. Like, I just don't understand. There's been not only that time, but there's been times I've been pulled over with drugs and guns in the car where I should have gotten felonies, and they're just like, "No, man. Like, we see that you ain't that person." So now, grant you, none of it was illegal besides like the two being together. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
I, I always had my license and stuff for everything, but just opportunity over opportunity that my life should have been utterly destroyed, taken from me, ruined. It just has never happened. And it got to a point where I finally started to realize that this isn't just luck. This isn't because I can talk well. It's because of God intervening physically in my life to make this stuff and to show me, like, dude, you need to get your shit together. And sorry for cursing on that, but like, he slapped my ass. He slapped me around a lot, and finally woke me up over the years. And then thankfully now I am the father I am. I'm the husband I am. I work my butt off to try to provide as little or as much as I possibly can, and I'm happy with that. I shouldn't even be here, man. I shouldn't be here. And to be able to look to my left and see my passed out kid in the one bed and my
Mm,
other enjoying Roblox right now with a smile on his face is just a miracle to me.
it's
It's a
amazing.
miracle to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I look at my family, man, and I look at the life that I have right now, and I just think like it could have gone a dramatically different direction, and it makes me all the more grateful that, I have two beautiful little girls and another baby on the way, and I have a beautiful wife, and I'm just very grateful for this life that God has given me. We do have a couple comments, so I want to. So we had
Go ahead.
site for Soramps following, so thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, and the man, myth, and legend. I totally butchered your name, bro. I don't know why I was reading it like
I
an
did.
idiot.
I did his name for a while. I did
When
his
you're
name for a
reading
while.
it,
Names are hard for me.
when you're reading the Rumble bot, I don't know, it just looked weird. But now seeing your comment, it looks totally normal. So yeah, we have Kyle who wrote the fact that you took substances to get through shows you were always a fighter, just in a terrible situation, but you still did what you thought you had to get through. Yeah, and and you did the right thing by ultimately even going to rehab. I just had a family member, man. We've been praying and believing God that he would go to rehab, and we were really scared that he wouldn't, man, because it's been
Yeah,
years since he went, and he finally got through those doors, man. And I'm like,
that's awesome.
yes,
That is
let's
awesome.
go, let him stay,
Yeah,
let him get right, and I pray that he has the same type of turnaround that you do, because he has kids, he has three kids, and it'd be a shame to squander that or ruin that and leave
it's the
them
truth.
in that same cycle that he's desperately trying to get out of.
I absolutely. I mean, you can let him know if he ever needs anybody to reach out to talk that's went through the same stuff. Like RCAM, give him my number, give him my email. It doesn't matter. I would love to talk to him and let him know that path is absolutely possible. As long as you have the support. I
Yeah.
have to say that if it wasn't for the support system that I had at that point with my wife and with her family, to say the least. I mean, when I came around, the one side of the family wanted to kill me, but the parents that were her parents, that because her parents separated as well, so she has a real mom, real dad, and then a stepmom and a stepfather. But Corey is truly her real father, and that's stepdad. But I mean, they've even sat in front of me going through all these drug processes and going through taking her grandmother's morphine because she was cancer ridden at that point in time. I didn't steal them, thank God. She gave me the bottle, but at the same sense, still a really fudged up situation, because I lied and told her that my knees hurt all the time. You know what I mean? Like, she wasn't the type of person to really understand what was going on or
Yeah.
what addiction would lead you to talk about. You know what I mean? And they came up to me instead for the first time, instead of like berating me like my family would do and knocking me down and telling me how much of a scumbag I was. That I remember still to this day them sitting me and Brittany down on that couch and literally having a real conversation to me directly, and it broke my heart
Hmm.
of what I'd done. It was the first time that I regretted having that conversation, asking for those pills, because I had two people in front of me that, despite what I did, actually gave a shit about my future. You know what I mean?
Bro,
Like,
that's the grace of
the
God. That's the
support
love
system
of
is
God,
so
man,
important.
shining through those people, bro.
Yep.
It's little acts of kindness and forgiveness like that that really it changes hearts, it changes minds. It's a demonstration of God's love manifest into the world around us, man. That's awesome. So I know you have to be going soon, so I don't know how much time you have left. But I definitely don't want to keep you. But um,
No, has been amazing. I'm actually he just sent me the link, and I told him I still need a few minutes, and that we can go right over to his as well. But guys, and especially to your family member too. I would I hope we can kind of coordinate somehow. I not only do I think it would help him, but I think it would help me as well,
yeah,
RCAM. I think I at this point in my life, those types of reminders of where we have been and where we are now are needed. And I just absolutely want to put that offer out there. And to anybody in the chat as well, guys, if you ever need help, and if I ever reach out, I hope you answer as well. I mean, we got to be there for each other. And this is just streaming to a lot of people, but to a few creators that I've met here, RCAM being one of them, Pudge being another one of them, like this is a very serious situation for us to get who we are out and to help as many people as we
yeah,
can. Whether it's with laughter, whether it's with joking around playing our video games, whether it's talking about politics and news and getting our critical thinking processes back in order and seeing through lies and understanding truths, or Midnight in the Mountains of exploring the unknown. We need these situations in our lives, and I just thank you, RCAM. Thank you for having me tonight. Thank you to the chat for understanding who I am and allowing me to be who I am on screen. And I just want to let anybody know that may doubt my what would they call it, my intentions, um and authenticity. It's there. If you were to meet me in person in RCAM, you're going to meet me in DreamHack. This is who you get.
yeah.
So anybody who might doubt that, I hope in the near future and going on into the future that you realize that Midnight and James and Brittany are the real people that you see behind the camera.
Same too. I want anybody watching know, like, I'm the same person online as I am offline. I don't change. I'm
Mhm.
I'm consistent in who I am. And if you ever need prayer for anything or somebody to talk to, I'll pray for you. You know, I used to be a pastor. I used to be in ministry. It's something that I'm really passionate about, and it's
Mm,
why I wanted to start this show. I wanted people to share their faith stories, people to share what God has done in their life, to be an encouragement to those people that are listening, so that maybe their story can help somebody else. Maybe their story can
exactly.
can sow that seed that grows to a tree, and they start walking and following God. That's my heart. That's what I want. And that's why I wanted to do this with Midnight. So, Midnight, I appreciate you. Now, I want to send everybody to the other channel. So I gotta just really quick get that pulled up. It's Furycast, right?
I believe so. I actually just asked him for the Rumble link as well because I don't know if it's under like a different channel. I know he has a few different like kind of like what we do, like the variety type deals, but I
Okay.
don't know if it's actually just under that main account or what. So give me a moment and I'll
While
let
we
him know.
wait
And
for
guys,
that,
as we're hanging out right now, if you guys have any questions for me, please ask them. I mean, I'm an open book and I'm trying to be as transparent as I can in a streaming space where most people hide themselves. And we got to admit that that is the truth, and that's the reason why I stay as honest and forward as I am. Like even when it comes to my kids being on stream, I have nothing to hide. That I don't have anything to lose. You know what I mean? Like I'm building my life up from square one, so I'm not taking a big risk and letting you guys know who I am. At some point, I can see in the near future, within the year, you're gonna know my last name. It's been up on screen like a billion times. I don't really care, dude. I don't. Like, there's nothing you could take from me because everything's kosher now. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Everything's kosher in my life now. You're not gonna find any dirt, thank God.
Before we
And
send
I know a
them,
lot of people don't feel that way because they have a lot to hide, and I just don't live my life that way anymore, thank God.
no, that's good, man. That's good.
I think it's Crash at Night.
Crash at night. All right, let me see if I can find
Yeah.
that. The screen might go black for a
So the
second, guys.
Fury Cast is the main one.
Okay. Crash at night. Oh, is that the? Okay, I see. It's a separate channel called Crash at Night.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I think I got it pulled up. But before we send them over, I'm going to do one more ad read, and I want to try something
Yes.
real quick just to make sure this works right. We'll do aim controllers. All right, let's do this. All right. Ready to level up your game? Aim Controllers is where custom meets unbeatable value, and right now, it's the best deal of the year. We start with official Sony and Xbox controllers fully compatible with console and PC, no functionality lost. Then you can go wild with custom features, smart bumpers, paddles, grips, stick height, custom buttons, even design your own PS5 snap panels. And here's the best part no one else is doing lifetime warranty on all modified parts. That's right, a lifetime warranty. So, what other company does that exactly? None. So, normally a fully loaded setup could run you $400, but during our one price promo, it's just $209 USD or 182 EUR. No matter how many features you add, use code RUMBLE at checkout and lock it in. This is your sign. Go to aimcontrollers.com and build the last controller you'll ever need.
I love aim controllers.
Huzzah. I gotta buy one, man. I gotta buy one. Site for store amps writes, if all you make
That's
is
how I feel.
friends, you have nothing to worry about. I can't see anyone disliking anyone here. Yeah, and unfortunately, I wish and I hope that remains the case, man.
Very true.
That's gonna be what I aim for, is just building relationships with people. And if there's somebody that rubs me the wrong way, I'll just kind of, just stay
You just
away.
put them off to the side, man. I'm at this point. I've even had relationships be ruined instantly because I've been told that I'm leaving them behind, or that I'm being too positive towards Rumble as a platform, or I'm like, and I don't want to be too graphic, but S in the D of Rumble. I'm like if you watch if go through my entire history of all my videos, and I want someone to point out the moment that I'm saying those things other than towards the community itself here on Rumble. And I'm like, guys, if you can't see that I'm just trying to do this for one, myself, and for two, you guys, it ain't about the platform itself. I'm not trying to be all buddy buddy with Rumble in itself. I'm doing it because this is who I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I've had relationships stop over the thought and the false thought that I'm, one, leaving them behind, two, trying too hard to impress Rumble
You
themselves.
want to
And no, I don't
know?
need to impress
You want to know what's
anybody.
funny about that though? I don't like. I mean, I started interacting with your show kind of, low follower account. That was not an issue with you. So if you were leaving people behind, you wouldn't even bother with small accounts like mine, bro. You
No,
wouldn't.
and that's what I
You know?
exactly, and that's what I didn't get. And the funny thing is this person was extremely, extremely close to me. If he gave me a phone call tomorrow, I'd be like, let's squash everything, it'd be washed away. We'd be right back to where we are again. And to say the least, he was literally the person that I supported the most on this platform very early on. We were standing shoulder and shoulder, as I thought, but apparently the devil can definitely get into some people's heads and make them think some very wrong things about people. And if anybody that knows of the situation sees this and can get the message out, I miss you, dude, dearly. I want that shit gone, and I would love to pick up where we left off. And that's all I'm going to say on that one.
Yeah. We had Crunk the Madman stop by and just leave a like and troll a bit. I appreciate it, Crunk. Appreciate you,
What's up,
man.
Crunk?
Is he ready?
But yes, that Rumble channel, that Crash at Night, is where it's actually going to be premiering at. So
Okay, is he ready? Because we can send him on over.
yeah, I'm gonna leave the room now and then head over to his studio. But
Okay.
just keep an eye; he should be going live here in a few minutes.
Okay, well, hang tight, man.
RCAM, thank you again so much for having me on. Chat, I love you guys so much. And whether you want to believe it or not, that word usage is real, and I really do love you guys.
Yeah, thank you, man, for coming on the show, and we'll get together on Sunday.
Sounds good. Sunday it is, bud.
Later, man.
Have a good one.
All right. Ooh, gotta adjust my screen. All right. Thank you guys for stopping by and supporting the stream. I really appreciate it, and supporting Midnight. I know that definitely meant a lot. And tried something a little bit new. RCAM is a cool guy. Don't tell him that I said that. I won't. I'll keep it a secret, man. But this is my first time actually kind of doing an interview with a new setup in OBS. So there's some kinks to work out, but I think it went well. I think it went well. So I feel good about it, and I'm glad that Midnight was my first guest. Great guy. Funny thing is, I do think me and Midnight are cut from the same cloth. Even our moms live in the same area, which is kind of crazy. Like, of all the places, they live in the same area, which just blew my mind. So yeah, we are definitely cut from the same cloth. I love that man. I'm so grateful for him, and I'm grateful for you guys too, for all the love and support. You guys really showed up. The Rumble community is great, even though the logistics of the tech need to work. Yeah, it needs to work. Yeah, yeah, man. You know what I would really love for them to do? I would love them to do their interview set up in studio as like an overlay or something in OBS. That would be pretty sick, because basically, like, I'm screen grabbing a separate channel and putting it into OBS to make the interview work. I'm sure there's a better way, a more efficient way, but this is the cheapest, freest way I could do it. So I needed to take advantage of it. um, yeah, whenever Midnight is ready, I will fire away and raid out the next chat. And we did pick up quite a few followers, by the way. So I appreciate all of you that followed and reposted. That's freaking awesome. You guys are freaking awesome. And I look forward to doing more interviews too. If you know anybody that has a faith story that they want to share, let me know. It doesn't have to be your life story if you don't want it to be, but maybe a story you heard or a specific moment of faith that just blew your mind. I want to share that with people. I want people to see God doing incredible things in the lives of those who believe in him. That's what I want. That's my heart, man. My heart since 2008 has been to make God's love known to the uttermost bounds of the earth, and I aim to do that with my small little channel and try to reach as many people as possible, because people matter. And I believe that we are living in a world that is kind of sick and spinning out of control, and people need to know that they can have a little bit of hope. Good stream, great interview. I've seen much worse stream tech problems. I have no idea how any of it works. Well, that's good. That's good to know, man. I appreciate that. And I will definitely be working out the kinks. I think I figured out the mic issue and stuff early on, or pretty early on, so that it didn't hamper or ruin the experience too much. I did see somebody said there's a delay, so it looks like I'm talking not my talking's out of sync, so I'll have to adjust that. But overall, I think it went well, and I'm grateful. I am grateful. So let's see. Let me just check and see. Hopefully Midnight's not pinging me. And let me see if this guy's stream is ready real quick. All right. Let's see here. All right. I'm not seeing him live yet, so I don't think he's up yet. So we will wait. We will wait a hot minute. Oh, thanks, Lady Midnight. Hey, if you were down to come on stream and share a little bit of your side, that'd be cool. If not, I totally understand. I just really got comfortable sharing my story again. So I definitely get that it's not for everybody. Because you have to relive some of that stuff too, and it's hard, man. It's hard, but I do think this, seeing what God has done in people's lives, is powerful and good, edifying. I want to edify souls, man. That's what I want to do. And yeah, so if you know anybody, send them my way. I will definitely have them as guests. I've never really actually told my side, but I'd be down. Okay, we will connect, and we'll get something set up down the road. Yeah. I'm excited to meet you guys in person at DreamHack too. So me and my very pregnant wife are, well, by then she'll be really pregnant. 2 months to go. We're coming though. We're gonna come to DreamHack, hang out, meet everybody, mingle, and just try to have a good time. So that'll be cool. That'll be very cool. Yeah, you'll like her too. She's freaking awesome. She's so awesome. Um, just a good woman, all in all. The best thing that has ever been mine, and I'm very, very grateful. Let me see if he is live again. I like this raid train that we got going on. You know, it'd be cool, like a raid-a-thon, where you're just raiding out and just building momentum, and then like at the end of the raid stream, you find like the smallest channel possible, and you just send like this massive raid army that you've built out. I am drinking out of a giant mason jar. This is I like to drink a lot of water, and this is like the best thing to drink them out of. Yes, you know, I'm gonna get with Midnight because maybe we can make this happen. That would be sick. Like like the debt snowball, but with a raid snowball where it just grows and grows and grows. That would be awesome. Like raiding a new stream every hour. It would suck though if somebody's stream died and ended it. Like that would suck. I drank the goldfish, so you don't have to worry about that. Yeah. Yeah, it would. There's a ton of creators where that makes a huge difference. It does make their day. Even like I do like a lot of times one man raids where it's just me, but still I think people appreciate it. So I always like doing it. I once made it 24 hours on stream rage. Really? That's sick. I have not been bold enough to do like a 24-hour stream yet. Mainly because I'm like a dad and I always got something going on. But I would like to do one. I would like to do a 24-hour stream one day. But I need my boys. I got my brother and my best friend, Resident of Kanto, and Jason D123. Those two guys I need them part of it because they're awesome and I love them. All right, let's see if this guy is ready to go. Hey, Lady Midnight, could you tell me when they're ready? Because that would be awesome, because I just don't want to miss it. And then be sitting on stream for, time while they need that, while they're waiting on that raid. I don't always watch what I get raided to, but I always at least click over. Yeah. Sometimes like I will, because when I'm raiding somebody out, like I'll stay there for a little bit, but usually it's because I have to go. So I can't really stay. Yeah. Yeah, you want to know, can we do another ad? Yeah, I think we can. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see if I'm eligible. I think that would be my cap anyway. Let's see. Nope, I got 7 minutes before another ad, yo. But maybe I can bring something up in the meantime. I got some videos on the docket that I could play. Let's see, what do we have here? Oh no, I can't actually. Hold on. Wait, actually, give me a second. I think the screen's gonna go black for a second, but you will still hear my voice. So give me one momento. Okay. All right, I shut the studio, so I think we're good now. Sing you a song. You don't want me to sing you a song, guys. That's one thing I do not have any talent with. Singing is not my gift. Uh, I uh, I write. I can mildly play a few notes on chords on guitar, but musical talent is not my gift. My wife, yo, she can sing, man. She did this cover recently, or she wrote this song, and it sounded a lot like Evanescence, and it was sick. It was so good. And I want her to like get somebody to put music to it so that and I think she could actually probably produce a pretty sick song. A couple crates of energy drinks helped. Tell us about yourself. The the Reader's Digest version. All right. Well, my name is Ryan. I am a father of two beautiful little girls right now, and I have a third one on the way, and it's actually going to be a boy, which I'm super stoked about. I'm over the moon, man. We were trying the basically if we didn't have a boy the third time, we were both we're like, yeah, we're done. We're done after this. um but no, man, God heard our prayers and we got blessed with a baby boy, and he's happy and healthy. My wife just got into the second trimester, so that's fun. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to being a dad, man. It's like one of my greatest joys. I love being a dad. I love this life that God has given me. Like, it's just dope. All right, let's see something else. We'll do. Let me pull up the right window, because I had a whole bunch of tabs of things that I wanted to talk about anyway. No, this is not the right window. Hold on. Bingo. Let me see if I can find anything lighthearted to play. I love doing like commentary and culture. The ironic thing is that it actually gets the least amount of traction from me, which I find ironic, because it's just it's just something that I enjoy doing the most, but gaming actually gets more views. Go figure. Let's see here. We got this. Okay. Why isn't it showing up? There we go. All right. Boys are a whole new level. Calm and super mama boys. My 4-year-old is still only about mama. That's good to know, man, because our last daughter was not calm. Everything about her, actually, from the time of her conception up until the delivery, was intense. And even to this day, she's intense. She is fiery and sometimes peaceful. Where my other daughter, she's 6, she is the most perfect kid you could possibly want. She is amazing in every, and not to say that my other daughter isn't, but she's tough, man. She's a tough cookie, okay? She's going through those terrible 2 phases, and it's real and it's awful. So I know she's going to be just as great as her sister, but she needs a little bit of extra help. That's for sure. All right. She's the second born, and those are the wild child. Yeah, that was me. Second born. Number 2. And I was wild in high school, and then I calmed down. Oh, I want to cover this. So here's a story. Here's a clip that I wanted to share. All right. Alaric. Oh, that's a cool name. Alaric. Where did you come up with a name? That is sick. And I like Rowan too. That's another cool name. You don't know what? When I think of the wild thornberries, I think of my daughter just running all around. Alaric. Okay. That's still a sick name. It's really cool. I've never heard that name. Yeah, me and my wife, it's a Nordic, but also from the Vampire Diaries. That's okay. That's okay. I was trying to name our son Silas, and me and my wife were going back and forth, but we landed on Asher. That's what we're gonna name him. That's cool though. I don't think anybody's gonna know it's from. Well, maybe girls will know it's from the Vampire Diaries, but most men will not. They'll be like, "What? That name is sick." All right, let's play this clip real quick. So I can't imagine being in this situation where you're just sitting, eating, minding your own business, and then making TikTok videos, which maybe they deserved it. Maybe. Let me stop. Jeez. Oh my God. Jim said to let you know they're having troubles. That's okay. I don't mind chilling and hanging out and waiting. I don't have I don't mind. Do they want should I do they still want does I'll still raid. Like I have no issue doing that and waiting. So just let them know if they need a little bit more time. I don't care, and obviously, if you guys want to hang out here until then, I don't mind either. Either way, I'm good. I kind of had time carved out for tonight anyway. So let's see. That blew out my eardrums. Did you guys hear the audio to that, by the way? Because I don't know if I had the audio. Did you see the clip I posted of Joe today? No. Let me pull her on up. Joe Donuts. Okay, you didn't hear the audio. All right, I'll make sure I get that fixed. I'm looking for this clip. I don't see it. I'm good for the long haul. If you have that clip, go ahead. Feel free to share it. I'll definitely play it on stream. Let's see. I want to see if I have anything like light on the docket, because I had like a whole bunch of clips that I wanted to talk about. But everything's super, I think everything is super heavy. And I just kind of don't want to talk about anything super deep right now. Oh, here, we got that Rumble link. I'll bring that up. Give me 1 second. All right. Boom. Okay. All right. Now let's see. We should be good. All right.
Yo, chap! Your loot rat captain's back, ready to dive into some Sea of Thieves chaos. Or why am I reading it like that? It's Super Arena Madness. We're vibing tonight. I feel like Grok is just as clueless as I am with this shit. He is winging this shit just as hard as I am.
No audio. Why isn't the audio playing?
NPCs now.
Hold on a second. All right, let's try it now. All right, tell me if you hear it now.
Chap, your loot rat captain's back, ready to dive into some Sea of Thieves chaos. Or why am I reading it like that? It's Super Arena Madness. We're vibing tonight. I feel like Grok is just as clueless as I am with this shit. He is winging this shit just as hard as I am. Maybe clap a few NPCs. Now I know this fucking thing is bullshitting.
Oh, is it working? Good. But now I don't see the screen anymore. What the heck happened?
Call me a Sigma. He put Sigma in fucking...
Lord, I hate technical difficulties. All right. There it is.
Nah, you're bullshitting.
Ooh. Ooh. Oh, hold up. Doggo is here. Wifey's home. Hey, babe. I'm still in stream. Hold on a second. Hello. All right. I think I'm gonna have to run, guys. So let's let me see. How's the stream coming along for midnight? All right. I guess we'll do one more ad read and then I am probably going to have to dip out, guys. I really want to send this raid to him. The link's not working for him at all, and it won't go live till he's in the room. Is he using Rumble Studio? The link is not working for him at all. I wonder why the link isn't working. I wonder if it has anything with him like jumping into my stream before or something like that. Oh, Streamlabs. I don't even know anything about Streamlabs, I'll be honest with you. Dang. That stinks. Okay. He's even trying it on his phone now too. All right. We'll give it a few more minutes. Just give me 1 second, okay? All right, I'm back. I don't know if you guys are still there. Sorry about that. Okay. Let's see. Discord, it's working now. Sick. Perfect timing. All right, we're gonna do an ad read, and then we're gonna run over to his show. So let me just see if it's live. Okay, let's do this ad read, and then we're gonna go over there. Okay. Move this out of the way. All right. Hey, no problem. All right. Still haven't tried 1775 coffee? Now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped, only 1,000 units. You're getting the bold, dark roast that hits hard, the smooth, medium roast, and the Vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focus, no crash. All single origin, small batch, toxin-free and mold-free. Plus, you're also getting a golden spoon clip because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. Except I scoop plastic every single day. But anyway, a frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions, and a black 1775 tumbler, $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for $99. This is for the ones who have been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble and wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler, it is. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something just like Rumble does. Sick. So we got our 3 ad reads for the day. Now let's raid this guy out. Let's see if he's live though first. I'm not seeing his live stream. Are they actually live yet? Oh, he's getting live up now. Okay. Sweet. Yes, you want to know what? Those last 2 ads we did actually put us over the goal for metrics this month. So I think we just hit basically all our metrics, but the premium feed. That's the only thing left that I got to do, and then we are good to go. We will be ready to rock. So that's awesome. So I appreciate all of you guys. Yeah, I'm glad you got technical problems are the worst, man. Like I totally sympathize with them. I really do, because I usually have a bunch of technical issues myself, and it's frustrating. I'm getting better. I've gotten a lot better, but when you try something new, like you always have to give like a little bit of wiggle room for error, because it happens, man. It happens. So I sympathize with people that are struggling. That's why, like, if somebody's having like a technical issue during stream, I'm never somebody that's gonna just tune them out because of that. Like I just will not do it. All right. All right. It looks like they are live. So let's rate out this chat, man. Let's rate them out. I think they are live. Yeah, it is always the days you don't want them, Lady Midnight. It is. It's always at the worst possible time. All right. I think we're gonna do this, guys. I'm pretty sure we're good. They're live. So let's send you guys on over, and I appreciate the love and support sincerely. I'll be on Sunday with Midnight, and I do my regular show Tuesday through Saturday at 9 p.m. So if you want to check more stuff out, I do on Tuesdays culture and commentary. On Wednesdays I'll do some gaming. Thursdays is commentary, and then Friday is going to be faith. Anyway, let's go. Oh, invalid URL. What the heck? Let me try this again. Copy. Maybe they reset the room /raid B. All right, let's try it again. Yeah, see you next time, and thank you for stopping by, Cypher Store Amps. I appreciate your support. Have a blessed day, all of you guys. You're awesome. You're rock stars. And if you ever need prayer for anything, let me know, and I will pray for you. And I mean that. I'm not just one of those pastors for Christians that say that. I will legitimately pray for you. Anyway, deuces.